Chosen ones, this isn't just any holiday season, it's the season where justice breaks loose. While you prepare to bask in blessings and breakthroughs, your enemies are bracing for a storm of consequences they'll never forget. They may have thought they'd outrun accountability, but this is their holidays of hell, and it's just getting started. How does it feel knowing that their candles of celebration will burn out in despair, while your light shines brighter than ever? Are you ready to see what divine justice looks like? This year has been no ordinary year for the chosen ones. The attacks you faced, both spiritual and physical, were severe, relentless, and calculated. Some of you endured betrayals that cut deeper than you thought possible, financial hardships that tested your faith, and spiritual battles that left you feeling like the weight of the world was on your shoulders. But don't lose sight of the purpose behind it all. These trials weren't pointless. They were orchestrated to prepare you, to strengthen you for the massive breakthroughs that lie ahead. Like a warrior in training, every struggle sharpened your endurance and deepened your reliance on divine strength. Think of a dam holding back an immense body of water. For years, the pressure builds, every drop adding weight, every moment bringing it closer to its breaking point. This is where you stand now, chosen ones. The pressure isn't a sign of defeat, it's the signal of a dam about to burst, releasing a flood of blessings that will drown every lie, every obstacle, and every enemy's plan against you. Prophecies that seemed delayed are coming alive. For some, this fulfillment stretches back as far as 2020, promises you nearly forgot because of how long you've waited. But the wait wasn't a denial, it was a divine setup. And here's the beautiful truth. This breakthrough season isn't just for the veterans. Even if you're new to the faith or still finding your footing, you're included. Your faithfulness, no matter how small you think it's been, has qualified you for what's coming. Hold your head high, because the pressure you've endured is turning into the overflow you've prayed for. Drop a comment. I claim my blessing if you know your breakthrough season is here. The holidays are more than just a time for festive cheer. They're a profound reflection of spiritual realities. For the chosen ones, this season carries the light of fulfillment, joy, and divine restoration. Every celebration, every candle, every shimmering light echoes the promises of God finally coming to pass. But for your enemies, it's a time when the shadows grow darker, the consequences of their choices becoming undeniable. While your blessings multiply, they'll find themselves confronted with the emptiness of their pursuits. For the chosen ones, the holidays mark a table of abundance. God is setting before you a feast overflowing with blessings, restoration in your finances, healing in your body, and peace in your relationships. This table is the manifestation of years of faith and endurance. But just as God prepares a table for you in the presence of your enemies, their table looks starkly different. It's barren, filled with regret and emptiness. They are dining on the bitter fruits of their actions, deception, betrayal, and harm they tried to sow against you. This isn't just chance. It's the spiritual principle of sowing and reaping coming alive in its full force. Those who sowed righteousness, faithfulness, and kindness are stepping into a season of joy and restoration. But those who sowed seeds of destruction, gossip, malice, witchcraft, and jealousy are reaping chaos and despair. What they sent out into the world has returned to them manifold, and there's no escaping it. The holidays for them are a season of reckoning where every choice they made comes back to haunt them. But this isn't just about you. The symbolism of this season extends beyond individual victories. It's a demonstration of divine justice that will inspire others. When people witness how God's chosen ones are elevated, it serves as a powerful reminder of His faithfulness. At the same time, the downfall of the wicked is a sobering example of accountability, a message that no one escapes the consequences of their actions forever. For you, chosen ones, this holiday season is a turning point. Every flickering light, every song of joy, every embrace from a loved one is a testament to your journey of battles fought, faith upheld, and promises fulfilled. But for your enemies, the same season becomes a somber reminder of a path they chose to walk. This holiday season doesn't just reflect the divide, it magnifies it, making it impossible for anyone to ignore. The enemies of the chosen ones did not hold back this year. Their attacks were bold, relentless, and fueled by arrogance. Some sought to destroy your peace through lies and manipulation, while others resorted to outright evil, witchcraft, spiritual sabotage, and coordinated efforts to derail your destiny. Their actions mirror the hardened heart of Pharaoh in the Exodus story, who, despite witnessing God's miracles, refused to relent. But just as Pharaoh's arrogance led to his downfall, the same fate now awaits your enemies. Even as they saw God's favor upon your life, doors opening, battles won, and impossible victories, they refused to acknowledge his power. Instead of repenting, they doubled down, blinded by jealousy and hatred. Their hearts weren't just hardened, they were sealed for judgment. What they failed to understand is that their arrogance was part of a divine plan. God allowed their pride to flourish, setting the stage for their ultimate downfall. They walked willingly into their own traps, thinking they were untouchable. Now, the signs of judgment are becoming undeniable. For some, it began subtly. Failed relationships, unexpected job losses, or financial instability. These weren't coincidences. They were the first cracks in the foundation of their lives. What they built on deceit and malice is crumbling piece by piece, and this is just the beginning. The storms they unleashed on you are returning to them with multiplied force, showing them the weight of their actions. This judgment isn't limited to the physical. Spiritually, their torment is growing. Sleepless nights, unshakable anxiety, and the haunting realization that they can no longer control the narrative are signs of their inner unraveling. For some, the very demonic forces they relied on are now turning against them, demanding payment for their loyalty. The darkness they embraced is consuming them, leaving them without peace or refuge. But understand this, chosen ones, this judgment isn't about revenge, it's about justice. God's purpose is not to destroy, but to reveal his power and glory. The downfall of your enemies is a message to the world, a declaration that his chosen ones are protected and that no weapon formed against them will prosper. Their collapse is a divine warning to others. You cannot fight against God and win. Even as this judgment unfolds, remember to hold your peace. God doesn't need your help to execute justice. He only asks for your trust. Watch as he turns the tables in your favor, proving that every battle you endured was not in vain. While your enemies face the weight of their decisions, you will rise untouched and unstoppable. For your enemies, this holiday season will not be a time of joy, it will be a time of torment. What they envisioned as a season of celebration is now a season of despair, where their plans unravel, their alliances crumble, and their lives spiral into chaos. It's as if the very darkness they sent out has returned to consume them, leaving them to face the full weight of their actions. The curses and witchcraft they aimed at you have multiplied in intensity and come back to them like a boomerang. Their nights are filled with restless sleep, plagued by visions of their downfall, while their days are consumed with confusion and setbacks. They're dining with demons now, bound by the spiritual forces they once thought they controlled. These forces demand payment, and the price is their peace, their health, and in some cases, their very lives. For some, the darkness is already manifesting in the physical realm. Relationships that once seemed unshakable are falling apart. Financial stability they boasted of is slipping through their fingers. Even their health is failing, the stress of their deeds taking a toll they can no longer ignore. What they thought was hidden is being exposed, and what they relied on for strength is now crumbling beneath them. This is the season of multiplied darkness for your enemies. They didn't just act in evil, they reveled in it, thinking their actions were without consequence. Now they're realizing that every move they made against you was a move against themselves. The trap they set for you has become the pit they've fallen into, and there's no escape from the judgment that has been unleashed. For some, the consequences will be even more severe: physical death or the total collapse of their lives. This isn't cruelty, it's the culmination of choices they've made. They gave themselves over to darkness, and now they're paying the ultimate price. This isn't just a momentary setback for them. It's the beginning of a long, dark season where nothing they do will prosper, and every effort will end in failure. While they sit in the shadows of their holidays of hell, you, chosen ones, are rising. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Their torment highlights the glory of your blessings. This season marks the great divide, where God's favor on you becomes undeniable, and their downfall becomes a cautionary tale. Stand firm, knowing that this is your time to shine, while they face the reckoning they tried so desperately to avoid. This message isn't for everyone, and if you don't feel it, that's fine. Move along. But if you've felt it deep in your bones, you'll know this is for you. Here's to the chosen ones, the ones who don't fit in, the ones who see beyond the veil, the ones who've been told to stay quiet, to settle, to conform, but never could. They aren't interested in what's ordinary. They aren't here to follow someone else's rules. They're the light in the dark, the storm that shatters illusions, the unshakable, the unstoppable, the untouchable. While the world is busy running circles, they're walking their own path, alone if they must. Not for the applause, not for the approval, but because it's who they are. Here's to the ones who take what was meant to destroy them and transform it into something divine. The ones who carry wisdom that can't be taught, only earned. If this resonates with you, then maybe it's time to find your people. The Obsidian Inner Order is the only place of its kind, the #1 Ascension Nexus for chosen ones, where over 400 of us gather to share wisdom, connect, and transform. No masks, no games, just truth. The link is in the description. If you're ready, you'll know where to find us. Chosen ones, your elevation is here. This isn't just another season of small victories. It's the season where God's hand moves in undeniable ways. What was stolen from you will be restored, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. For some, this means receiving homes that symbolize stability and protection, careers that offer abundance and purpose, and opportunities that bring lasting joy. What once seemed impossible will now be placed in your hands as if it had been waiting for you all along. The chains of oppression are breaking. For too long, many of you have been targeted, gang-stalked, and ostracized by those who saw your light and wanted to snuff it out. You've been treated as outcasts, misunderstood and rejected, but that time is over. The tables have turned, and the very ones who sought to bury you will watch as you rise above every scheme they devised. You are no longer at the mercy of their plans. Your spiritual inheritance is being fulfilled. This is more than physical blessings. It's about stepping into the fullness of what God has always intended for you. New families, new relationships, and new circles of influence are emerging, designed to nurture your growth and solidify your purpose. You will no longer walk alone, but with a tribe of people who understand your calling and celebrate your victories. This elevation is also about restoration. Every tear you cried, every loss you endured, and every battle you fought will be redeemed. What seemed like wasted years will now be seen as a foundation for a future so glorious that it overshadows the pain of the past. This is God's way of ensuring that nothing you went through was in vain. Even those watching from the sidelines will take notice. Your life will become a testimony, a beacon of God's power and faithfulness. Those who doubted you will have no choice but to acknowledge the favor upon you. The same people who whispered about your struggles will now marvel at your success, wondering how you managed to overcome so much. Most importantly, this elevation isn't just for your benefit, it's for God's glory. Every breakthrough, every victory, every open door is a reflection of His love and justice. You are being positioned not just as a recipient of blessings, but as a vessel to bless others. This is your time to stand tall, to walk boldly into the life you were always meant to have, and to show the world what divine favor looks like. As the holiday season ends, the separation between the chosen ones and their enemies will be undeniable. This isn't just a momentary shift, it's the beginning of two vastly different paths. For the chosen ones, this season marks the start of a new era where blessings flow with consistency and God's promises become a living reality. But for your enemies, it's the beginning of prolonged suffering, a period where the consequences of their actions unfold with relentless precision. For your enemies, the aftermath of the holidays will feel like a slow and agonizing unraveling. This isn't about immediate destruction, but about a steady decline that touches every aspect of their lives. What they once relied on will fail them. The influence they held will diminish. Their plans will turn against them, leaving them trapped in a cycle of regret and despair. This is the divine judgment they tried so hard to escape, now unfolding before their eyes. Meanwhile, chosen ones, your elevation will be undeniable. You will see the evidence of God's hand in every area of your life. The things you once prayed for will now come effortlessly, as if heaven itself is moving on your behalf. By the time the holidays are over, it will be clear to everyone that you are walking in a new season of favor, one that no enemy can disrupt or diminish. This shift isn't just personal, it's generational. The breakthroughs you experience will lay the foundation for your family, your community, and those who look to you for inspiration. You are being positioned as a trailblazer, someone who changes the narrative and sets a new standard of faith and perseverance. Your elevation isn't just for you, it's for everyone connected to you. For the world watching, the aftermath of this season will serve as a testimony to God's justice. Those who doubted your faith, questioned your journey, or even ridiculed your struggles will now see the undeniable truth. God's favor cannot be stopped. The blessings on your life will inspire others to seek the same God who has lifted you out of darkness and into light. By the time this season ends, the message will be clear. The chosen ones are stepping into a new era of blessings, while their enemies are entering a prolonged period of reckoning. This isn't the conclusion of God's justice, it's the beginning of a new chapter where His power and glory are on full display. Stand firm, chosen ones. The aftermath of this season is a testament to His faithfulness, and the best is yet to come. Not all opposition came from the expected places. Some of the harshest attacks this year came from within the religious community itself. These weren't strangers or outsiders. They were people who claimed to follow the same God as you. Jealousy, misunderstanding, and spiritual pride fueled their judgment as they questioned your calling, ridiculed your journey, and labeled your faith as misguided. But God is addressing this hypocrisy head-on in this season. Many of these critics were quick to demonize you without understanding the depth of your purpose. Instead of supporting you, they chose to cling to old dogmas, judging what they couldn't comprehend. Their actions mirror the Pharisees of old, more concerned with tradition and appearances than the actual move of God. But just as Jesus confronted those who misused their religious authority, God is now dismantling the structures and mindsets that allowed such behavior to persist. This season is exposing the limitations of their elevation. While they may hold titles, positions, or influence, their inability to recognize God's hand in your life has become their greatest hindrance. Until they release their judgmental mindsets and embrace humility, they will not rise beyond the boundaries they've set for themselves. Their stagnation is not due to lack of talent or opportunity, but because they've resisted the new things God is doing through His chosen ones. For those critics who are willing to learn, this season is a chance for transformation. God's actions in your life are not just a vindication for you, they're a lesson for them. By watching your elevation, they're being invited to let go of their pride and embrace a deeper understanding of faith. This isn't about shame, it's about growth. But for those who refuse to change, this season will serve as a stark reminder that God's work is not confined to their narrow interpretations. Chosen ones, this is not a time to gloat or retaliate. Instead, it's a time to walk in grace. Let your victories speak for themselves and allow God to handle the rest. The elevation you're experiencing is proof that His plans for you are unstoppable, regardless of who doubted, criticized, or opposed you. In the end, this season isn't just about exposing hypocrisy. It's about building bridges for those willing to walk across them. The religious critics who humble themselves will find new opportunities for growth and spiritual maturity, while those who cling to their judgment will watch from the sidelines as God's chosen ones rise. Let your life be the testimony that inspires them to change, even if they resisted you in the past. Chosen ones, take heart. Your journey has not been in vain. Every trial, every tear, and every unanswered question has been preparing you for this moment. You may have felt like giving up, questioning if the battle was worth it. But here's the truth. You were never abandoned. Every step of the way, God was shaping you, refining you, and positioning you for a breakthrough that will make the struggle worthwhile. This is your time to embrace your role fully. You weren't chosen because you were perfect. You were chosen because you were faithful. Your imperfections didn't disqualify you. They made you relatable, human, and real. The very things that others used to tear you down are the same things God is using to build you up. Own your story because it's uniquely yours, and no one else can walk the path you've walked. As you step into this season of blessings, let humility guide you. Yes, you've earned this victory, but remember, it's not just about you. It's about what God is doing through you. Celebrate with grace, knowing that your success is a reflection of His power. Use this time to rest, to rejoice, and to prepare for even greater things ahead. Your blessings are just the beginning of a larger plan that will unfold in ways you can't yet imagine. This season is also a call to unity. Chosen ones across the world are experiencing similar victories, and now is the time to strengthen those bonds. You're not alone in this journey. The shared experiences of faith, struggle, and triumph are creating a global tribe, a family that understands your heart and celebrates your growth. Together, you are stronger, a force that can uplift, encourage, and inspire one another. Remember to guard your heart during this time. Not everyone will celebrate your success, and not every opportunity is meant for you. Stay connected to God, seeking His guidance in every decision. The same faith that brought you to this season is the faith that will sustain you through it. Trust Him to direct your steps, even when the path ahead seems unclear. The blessings you are stepping into are not temporary. They're part of a divine legacy that will outlast you, extending to your children and their children, the homes you're receiving, the careers you're building, and the stability you're experiencing are all part of a foundation that will stand for generations. This is God's promise that your obedience and faithfulness would not only bless you, but create a lasting inheritance. But this season isn't just about blessings, it's about positioning. You are being elevated not just to enjoy the rewards, but to serve as a light in a dark world. Your life will become a testimony of what happens when faith meets perseverance. As others watch your journey, they'll be inspired to seek the same God who lifted you from struggle to triumph. Your victories will become a beacon, drawing others to hope and transformation. The enemies who once tormented you will no longer hold power over your life. Their plans have failed, and their influence has been stripped away. While they face the consequences of their actions, you will move forward with unstoppable momentum. This season is a declaration that nothing and no one can stand in the way of God's purpose for your life. For the chosen ones, this era of justice is a reminder to remain steadfast. The battles may not be over, but you've been equipped with the tools to face whatever comes next. Every blessing you receive is a testament to the battles you've already won, and every victory is a stepping stone to something greater. Stay rooted in faith, knowing that what God has begun in you will only continue to grow. As you walk into the future, remember this: the legacy of this season will be remembered. Years from now, you'll look back and see how this was the turning point, the moment when everything shifted in your favor. It will be a story you tell, a testimony that inspires, and a reminder that God's justice is always perfect and His timing is never late. Chosen ones, this is your prophetic vision, a future filled with blessings, victories, and an undeniable display of God's power. Step into it with confidence, knowing that the best is still ahead. Chosen ones, the holidays of reckoning are a season of justice, a season of restoration, and a season of undeniable transformation. The battles you endured were not in vain, and the tears you cried did not go unnoticed. This is your moment to rise, to shine, and to step into the blessings that have been prepared for you since the beginning of time. As you walk into this new era, hold on to the truth that God's justice is never about mere punishment. It's about protection, vindication, and the fulfillment of His promises. While your enemies face the consequences of their choices, you are walking into freedom, abundance, and divine favor. Let this season inspire you to stay faithful, to celebrate with humility, and to shine brightly as living testimonies of what God's power can accomplish. Share your stories, encourage others, and keep your heart fixed on the greater things yet to come. This is just the beginning.